And then he'll go live.
It's on live right now.
It's on there now.
Eli, I need you not to talk for a minute, please.
Should be able to pull it up.
Live.
76, yeah.
They're up.
Back down.
Okay, so first thing we're gonna do is let's discuss. I know you're probably tired of talking about it all day, but I'm gonna discuss with you how it's gonna work for my class in particular. I don't know if you saw, I put a post on Edmodo this morning to give you a heads up. You need to be fairly well proficient in Edmodo going forward here. Okay. Everything that I'm going to do will be done through Edmodo. You have access to our emails. So if you want to email things in or ask questions, you can do it through that. Right now, I am currently on live on YouTube. I'm going to run tutorial sessions from, right now they'll be from 10 till 12. I'll let you know every day when it's going to go on. So when I get to work at 9, I will put on there, okay, today I'll be on at this time. It'll likely be 10, I'm going to try and keep it consistent from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, so that if you are going through any of your work in here and you want to ask questions, the first thing I would suggest you do is start at 9 in the morning, go through some of the work, circle anything that you have, either email me before 10 o'clock or this YouTube live. I can't do it right now because my laptop's facing in a direction. There is a comment area on it. So you can send in comments of questions that you want to see. Now I have basically 4 classes all going to be using the same method. So if I find that we're not getting enough quality time, then I'll extend it either into the afternoon or I'll pick another time. But you're gonna have to keep up with me on Edmodo so that I can keep you abreast of where you should be at all times. Okay, so we have to approach it like basically from tomorrow till the week after spring break, you're basically on your own learning. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do right now, just before I get going in the book, is I'm going to give you last year's Edmodo code for my class. That way you can pull up all the lessons that I did from the previous year for the section. So I'm not going to teach anything on this YouTube live. I am just going to answer questions on it. Okay, yes.
Will it be able to view after you've done it, or?
I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know if I can record this as I go or not. Excellent point. Maybe I can.
If you could do what?
If I can record it while it's like as I'm live right now, if it goes into a data bank, and then I'm very, very new at this, so we'll see. Yes, Emma.
What do we do with our tests? Do we write them all?
You're gonna write them all when you get back.
Oh.
Okay.
So both
So-
of us?
Sorry?
For this unit and the next?
Well, if we get 2 more days this week, I would look at writing a test Wednesday. Okay. Now, I'm not confident that there's gonna be 2 more days this week. Okay. Things are changing really rapidly, so we have to. If that's the case, we'll write it after the 3 weeks is up. But you'll also be writing chapter 5 and likely chapter 6 at that point as well. Okay. In order for us to approach what we need to and be prepared. Now, hear me out here. I'm preparing you to be successful in grade 11 and grade 12 in both applied and pre-calculus. In order to do that, we have to find a way to get through this course this year. Okay, so it's basically for the next 3 weeks, you're doing it as an ISO, meaning it's an independent study option. However, you do have access to me. I will answer questions. I'll answer questions live on video. I'll answer questions. I prefer not. There's a few. Lots of the older kids have my cell number. I prefer not to do through text. Emails would be more preferable for me. So I'll answer any questions that way. But I can also, if you give me a question, I can put it on. I can video it as I'm doing it, and then just send it onto Edmodo for you as well. So there's a number of ways that we can make this work. Is it going to be easy? Heck no. It's not gonna be easy, but thankfully, we're probably through our main unit. If we get through chapter 4 here, that's the toughest unit you're gonna have. Okay, so from here on in, it'll get a little bit easier in terms of the content that you have. Are you going to need to be disciplined? Yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of homework on your own. Okay, you gotta find a point in the day, we'll do that, but I'm giving you a point in the day where you should be working. From 10 till 12, you should be working. Okay, now I'm not saying you have to do it the entire 2 hours, just long enough for you to know, and I'm going to give you a timeline. I'll put it on Edmodo. I'm gonna say, okay, today 4-1 needs to be done, tomorrow 4-2 needs to be done, Wednesday 4-3's gotta be done. You basically are looking at a section a day. For every day of school you miss, that's one section that needs to get done in your workbook. That's basically what it's going to amount to. Okay? Now, the beauty of it is you've got all kinds of time to do it. Okay? You can do it at your own leisure, but get it done. Don't fall behind, because when you get back, if you get back, which you should, you're going to have to be exactly where I've told you to be. All right? There's going to be no catch up. We will not have time to catch up. You are missing 10 plus days of school time that you can't afford to miss in order to get this course done. Okay? But don't stress over it, because we know the situation you're in. All right? The main thing I want you to know, and I've said this all day today, is it's a flu bug. It's not that's going to create drama in your household as much as it is the stress of having to do a lot of homework on your own. Okay? Flu bug, if you get it, you're sick for 4 days, you got a cough, you got a fever, you'll pull through, you're healthy, you're young. Okay? We're in a good position here. We're in small town Manitoba. That's as good a place as you want to be in this world right now. It's as far away from city centers as possible. All right. Not a lot of people from Rollin traveling in and out of Rollin in terms of international travel or anything like that. So you're in a pretty good spot. Do you have to take precautions? Yeah. But I mean, hand washing is not really a precaution when you should be doing it all the time. Right? Brooklyn, you had your hand up.
I can't forget.
I knew if I talk long enough, you'd forget. Okay. Questions or concerns about what we have to do? Okay, go ahead.
So since it's next week, we'll be missing on the week, not like following the one after.
Yeah.
But we won't have to do it.
You won't have to do anything over spring break. Hello? Yeah.
I guess then we're like magic.
I think he is. Of the high school hockey team? Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, I see. I don't know what he played up till last year. He played AAA. He played AAA midget last year, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, no problem with that. Okay. I lost track. Did I answer your question or not?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. Emma.
And you're gonna get the school, so are us as students allowed back in
No.
school? picking up stuff?
No, I asked that question at lunchtime today when we met,
Yeah.
and as soon as this kicks into effect, you are not allowed in the building. So,
So we should take all our stuff in case then?
you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I heard you talking earlier. I'd be prepared to take everything home tonight.
Oh,
And then if you come back tomorrow, bring it back tomorrow. All right, what you need, okay? But I am cautious in the fact that if you didn't take it home tonight, and let's say at 5 o'clock today, so an hour after school, they say schools are closed tomorrow. That's possibly, that's what happened in Alberta and Saskatchewan the last 2 days, right? It closed down in Saskatchewan an hour ago, and they're to be out by the end of the day, and that's it. At least they were in there. Just Alberta last night, they weren't allowed to go into the school and get their stuff. So it can be like that for you. So let's make sure that you take everything home today. Okay? Yes, Amber.
Every time that I try to put the Edmodo code in, it says your request is pending or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know what? That's one thing we'll do after I'm done here and gone through some content. Let's make sure everybody can get on Edmodo. I'm going to, which means you can use laptops or phones before the end of class, because I need you to put in the old code so that you have last year, so that you can pull up my videos from last year, okay? So, like I said, I won't teach anything new. You have to follow the videos if you need it. Do you remember me telling you about Khan Academy at the start of the year?
Yeah.
That may be your new best friend as well. All right, use Khan Academy if you are struggling and you can't get a hold of me or something happens. All right, I will do my best to keep up with you. My Edmodo is a posting board, so if you have comments, if you have something you want personally to talk about, email me. If you're okay with opening it up, any questions are great for everybody else to see. Then just post it to my board and everybody can see it. That's a good thing to do because I'll forget things. All right. So this is unprecedented, obviously, but it's not something you should stress over at all because you're not changing it. All right. And it's not going to complicate your life. You're going to be away from this building for 3+ weeks. It's okay. It's okay. Nobody's going to leave you behind. You're not going to be behind in your school. Everything will get caught up in the end. Okay, so just don't have a lot of anxiety over it. Structure's good. I saw on Facebook, somebody put on a list for your kids. Kids should get up at 9 or 8 o'clock, should have their breakfast, start homework at 9 o'clock. Like make a schedule for yourself, just a daily one. That'll keep you a little more sane. If you're anxious about what's happening, make that schedule so that you fit in your school time. And I mean, do it for an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon and be done with it. All right, that should be enough. The one thing I can say confidently is my classes are set up for this. You have visual lessons that you can access. I am accessible. I hope I don't know what the live feed looks like. It's going to be tough. It may cut in and out based on streaming out of the school, based on your internet access. That could happen, okay? So it's not going to be perfect, but it's better than a lot of kids are going to be at this point in their school year. Emma?
And this, like, missing these 3 weeks, they're not going to come into a summer break during school.
I can't guarantee that. I would suspect no because I'm still here. If they close the building down, that could take for the amount of days that they close down, it could be added on at the end. But right now, as long as teachers are going to school, it's not going to go into the summer.
Okay, like, we're most likely just going to be shut down for like 3 weeks.
Really?
I would say 3 weeks is going to be on the low side. I think that's best case scenario. They're talking, but look, it's all out of our control, right? So there's nothing you can really do about it. In fact, I would strongly suggest go have fun with it. You're at home for 3 weeks, get outside, do stuff. Okay, you have another question? Okay, anybody else have questions? All right, now I'm gonna be curious. I'm gonna get you to phone them after I do this just to see how it's gone. Okay, because I don't really know, and then I'll check who is it. Emma asked about. I'll see if it's recording this as we go as well. That would be lovely if it recorded it, because then you could miss and still catch up. But yes, Amber.
What's your YouTube name?
Just my full name.
It's on Edmodo too, if you want Edmodo and watch Edmodo.
You just click the
It
link.
takes you right to his YouTube.
Okay, yeah. So, but I think you have to subscribe in order to watch live. Okay, I don't have any subscribers, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Just trying to get you.
Nobody wants to watch that. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go through a question from each of the first 9 here on page 76. And like I said, the ideal situation would be to test this week, but I understand the nervousness about that. So if that's the case, that's fine. Maybe I give an assignment. I'll see. I thought I did one last week for you. And then that could be your assessment. We may get it tonight if I got it done, and then I'll give it to you. You get it back into me tomorrow or Wednesday. And then that would be the assessment for this, and then we'll just go on to chapter 5. So the question was, the week of spring break, there will be 5 classes the week before, and there'll be 5 classes the week after spring break. Now, if I may not be here those times, that's a possibility. All right, I have kids too, so I have to watch my kids, I may have to be away. So I will keep you updated on Edmodo, but I am shooting for right now those days that I'm in the building from 10 to 12 being on live to answer questions. Okay, so it might be up to you to look through that stuff, okay? All right, great. First one, I'm just gonna pick some here and okay, so it says that express each power as an equivalent radical. So I need to change this into a radical. How do I change this into a radical?
Okay, I think
Lily?
So it'd be like, you take the 4 and that would be what is where the cubic.
Fourth root?
Fourth root.
Yeah.
Fine. And then you do 3 times 1. And that's, 3 times 1 and that's.
No.
Oh, no?
I don't have to, okay, so you can do it one in two ways, Lily. I can multiply it first, or I can just stick the fourth root here and it just stays as this in here. Okay, so you're kind of combining 2 steps there. You're kind of combining multiplying it and then changing it. But all you really needed to do is move that to here, make it the fourth root, and you're done. Okay?
so that's it.
That's it. You're done that question.
Okay.
So you just have to change that. So let's look at one more then. So I have that. It's okay. I'm just gonna do this one. All right. So how do I rewrite that as a radical form?
You're gonna do the square root of 6.
Cube.
Yeah, the cube root of 6, then put 5 at the end of the power.
Like that?
Yeah.
Very good.
What
Very
is
good.
a radical cube?
Means you have a square root or a cube root, or you have to have the root value on it. Okay. Okay, so now we work the other direction. So I'm going to go with this one now. That there. Okay, so now I need to change that and work it the other direction now. So what does that become? I do this in 2 steps. What would step 1 be?
Would you put 3, would you put a common denominator in that thing?
Not yet. No. Okay, Lily, try it.
Put like 5 over 2 into, what's it called, not a mixed fraction, but.
Not yet, no, no,
Put 1 over 3.
yes. Where would I put it?
Yeah, like a 1?
No,
The outside bracket, like bracket.
yes, yes, okay, we're working to it, great job. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm changing my rooted value to a fraction as an exponent. So this becomes 1/3, right? That's the first thing that I'm going to do here. Okay? And then from that point, okay, all right, what am I doing? Am I adding, multiplying, subtracting, dividing? What am I doing here with an exponent to an exponent? What is it? Multiply. An exponent to an exponent, I times them. Okay? Let's just review that quickly. 2 squared cubed means 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 squared, right? Right? So that's how many 2's? How many 2's? 2 squared, 2 squared, 2 squared. How many 2's total? 6 2's, right? So that's 2 to the 6th. Well, how do I get 2 to the 6th out of there? What do I do with 3 and 2? I times them. So I go back to here now, and I'm going to multiply. So I get x 5 times 1 over 2 times 3. There's my solution. X to the 5 over 6. All right? Try one more?
Try a
I
harder
like-
one.
Well, that's about as hard as it gets right there. I'm gonna try, let me do this one
With an
here,
extra
because
step.
I like this one. This isn't even in there, I don't think.
No.
Well, they have two of these, three. Let me change that. Okay. So what does that look like then?
Would you turn those into fractions and put them all articles over one?
Okay, so if I'm gonna do that, then I would have to change the exponents from positives to negatives,
Oh, yeah.
right? So what do I do with my rooted value? What do I do with it?
1 over A.
Say that again?
1 over A.
Yes. Yes, so 2 cubed doesn't change. Not yet anyways. But the rooted value becomes 1 over A. And when I multiply that, 3 times 1 over A, what do I get?
3 over A.
3 over A. 2, 3 over A. Still haven't answered that guy, right? Let me do another one then.
We do D.
We can.
Which number?
D.
Okay, what's the first step that I'm doing in that question? I've done 2 of those questions. What's the first step I get in each case? What's the first step? Say it again, D. Put it in a bracket, and then what do I do with the rooted value?
Put in the fraction.
Make it a fraction, right? Make it a fraction. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to do. You're going to change that root into an exponent as a fraction. So what do I get? A squared, b cubed, to the power of what? Bless you. 1 over 5. Like that. Okay? So far? Now what do I do with that 1 over 5 now? No?
I have a question.
Okay.
So the exponent in the bracket, is it the top number in a fraction or is it the bottom number in a fraction? Does it matter when you're times it?
Okay, for here, now,
Is it
it's for
over
both of
one
them.
or both?
It's for both of them now.
It applies to both.
Yes, it applies, it applies to everything in the brackets, so you would do both. Okay? So what would I have on top here then? A to the power of what?
2 over 5.
2 over 5. And on the bottom, I would have b to the power of 3 over 5, and I'm done.
And then just oh yeah.
That's it.
Oh, never mind. Because yeah,
I can't subtract because my bases are different.
like they're the
If
same.
they were the same, then I would subtract the exponents, but they're not the same. They're different. Yes.
And then it'd be like a negative number. So then when you have to put like 1 over.
Yes, I would just put it all on the bottom. That's right.
I was just gonna check.
Okay. How are we doing? Need another one of those, or we? Okay, let's go to the next one then. All right, express each mixed radical as an equivalent entire radical. All right, so I've got 4 times the square root of 5, and I want to make them both square roots. One singular square root. How do I do it? We did this on the other day.
4 squared or square root 4, and then times root 5 squared. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was right.
Yeah. Like square root 4 squared. Times 5.
Yes, 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 yes. Square root 4 squared times square root 5.
Yeah.
What is the square root of 4 squared? 4. 4. I haven't changed it, have I?
No.
No. So, what is 4 squared? 4 squared. Just 4 squared is what? 16. 16 times 5 is? 80. That's the square root of 80. All right. gonna skip the section, but.
When would you want to do, like, when were you planning to do the test for this one?
At the end of the week this week.
So can we get, like tomorrow at 8 with you? If it doesn't.
I would prefer you just use the one in the book, the chapter review in the book here. Yeah, that's more than enough questions. If you can do that chapter review, you're good. It's got the answers in there too. Okay, let's try one more here. 3 times the square root of 5. This isn't in your book. Different question. Okay? 3 square root 5. I need to make that a singular square root.
Yeah. 3 squared.
Yes. Yes, you would. Very good. 3 squared times square root 5 equals 45. Square root 45. Okay? So we have 9 times 5, which is
So
45.
how do you do that on the calculator?
You don't. Okay? I think we got that down, Pat. Let me try one more though. I'm gonna amp it up a bit. Two cube root 3. 2 cube root 3.
Would you do, the cube root of 2 cubed times 3 squared?
Yes. Not 3 squared, just 3. So I've got this. I'm gonna make this the cube root. 2 cubed, right? I cube that guy, and I take the cube root of it, which means I'm just leaving it as 2. And then I've got the cube root of 3 here, right? What is 2 cubed? What is it? Sorry?
Holy, wait.
8. 8 times 3 is? 24. Cube root 24. All right. Okay. Now we gotta work the other way. Is 32 a perfect square? No. There's nothing I can multiply by itself to get you 32, is there? Okay. But is there a perfect square that goes into 32? Divides into it. What is it? 16. Is 16 a perfect square? Yeah? What do I times 16 by to get to 32? 2. So let's square root 16, square root 2. Does that give me square root 32? 16 times 2, 32? Yeah? What is the square root of 16? 4. Or square root 2.
So where do you get the 2 from? Oh, you square root 16.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it's called a mixed radical because you have a whole number and a square root, which is called a radicand. Okay, and once you get to a square root that you can't break down anymore, it just stays as a square root. We don't work with calculators and we don't work with decimals. We just leave them as is. Okay? One more then. Square root of 44. So you're looking at that value and you're saying to yourself, okay, what is a perfect square that goes into 44? Is 22 a perfect square? No. What's a perfect square that goes into 44? What is it? 4?
Yeah.
Okay. And what do I multiply 4 by to get to 44?
11.
11, okay. And what is the square root of 4?
2.
2. So this now becomes 2 square root 11. That's you. Okay, here's a doozy for you. I have the cube root of 48. Cube root of 48. All right. Is there a number that I can multiply by itself to give me 48? Multiply by itself 3 times to give me 48?
No.
No. Is there a number that goes into 48, divides into 48, that is a perfect cube?
2.
2 a perfect?
8.
8.
4.
Is 8 a perfect cube?
Yes.
Yes. What is a cube root of 8?
2.
2. And what do I times by 8 to get to 48? 6. So I change that to cube root 8, cube root 6. And what is the cube root of 8? 2. 2 times the cube root of 6. It's called a mixed radical. Okay? Yes, Lily?
So these ones would be more than one off, like one way to do them.
Yeah. Especially if it's a larger number and there's more than one cube root, like if you picked a smaller one, you might have to do it twice.
That one we did the example with 112.
Yeah. Right? We worked it down through using 4 first,
Yeah.
but we should have used 16. So you can do it more than one way for sure.
And just like if we did the test, doesn't matter what
No.
way we did them.
Nope. However you get to that final answer is the way I want to get there. Okay? All right, so what I would suggest then today is going through 4.4. Most importantly, get up to the apply part of that section. So I would get through 1 to 9 as best you can. All right? Okay? All right, go to work then. Lily,
Want me to call them?
yeah, find out, just ask them to critique it and see how it worked.
I can't help.
Kind of lopsided.
Well,